I want to especially thanks to our partners from Taiwan, and especially thanks to Mr. Robert Yang, Deputy Director of Business and Startup and Incubation Division, SMEA. So since our judge and Steve is here, so let's give this opportunity to our startups. If you have any questions, we're going to give you like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to ask your questions, and judge will answer you. So any startup have questions, you can ask right now. So Peter, how do you see it today's? Well, actually, we got 6 teams before the first team of judges. But from the second team, how do you feel, and what do you like most?
It seems to me that the second session, which I'm part of, most of the team members are from Taiwan. Is that correct, Diana?
Yes. Yeah,
that's
right.
That's really great. Guys, I'm also from Taiwan and came to the United States in 1988 for my grad school. So I do have affinity with you guys back home. I think if Steve Hoffman were still here with us, I wanted to ask him one question, but I don't see him online anymore.
Oh, Steve left. Yeah. Okay. I can connect you with him. Yeah.
I think there are 2 main issues for startups and challenges in Taiwan. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is English presentation capability. So that's number 1. And I would urge people to either improve your English or find some team members of yours who can speak fluently. One opportunity I recently have observed is due to COVID-19. A lot of students that have graduated either in Great Britain or here in the United States actually are having a hard time finding jobs here. So they are returning home. Therefore, you have more English-speaking people that have graduated here that are back home in Asia with you. So try to hire these people taking advantage of this opportunity. The second thing that I have observed is difficulty in fundraising. We do see a lot of startup incubators that are either sponsored by the government or by some private enterprises in Taiwan. The difficulty has been easier to raise $1 to $2 million US dollars, but whenever any company wants to raise north of $3 or $5 million, you are beginning to encounter difficulty. So I would, since Steve Hoffman already said that Founderspace has facilities also in China, and he has visited Taiwan, encourage some of the international accelerators to set up their shops in Taiwan to work with local accelerators, and somehow be able to attract, using VCs like myself these days are more used to video conferencing rather than handshake and touch the temperature of your palm differences in person. We're getting more and more used to video conferencing, so use this opportunity to try to see whether you can tap into Silicon Valley VC's network and get money from them. Because distance seems, with COVID-19, people are getting used to meeting people in a great distance. So this is my encouragement to my fellow friends and hometown people back in Taiwan. So sorry, Diana, I'm just trying to address to them. And the reason I did not participate in the first session is you have to congratulate. I decided to volunteer myself to be chairman of Monty J. West for the next 2 years. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. And Peter is a great speaker and investor. And yeah, so the 2 teams from Taiwan got award. And if you choose one team to have maybe another private meeting, which one you would choose, Nua or Frontier?
I think both companies, Nua seem to have a lot of potential, and it is going to be very interesting to see how the strategic investor of this company have in mind, and the strategic customers have in mind. And down the road, they also have some to C customer, meaning consumers that are buying products from their website. So it'll be interesting to understand how Nua actually develops a platform so for different developers to come up to the platform and develop interesting application. Like Ray said, the user scenario is extremely important, so I'm interested in that. Frontier seems to be going from B to B and then to C down the road. And the presenter did say that to C model may take another 5 to 8 years. So I think it's being very pragmatic. But I'm curious about Frontier being in a very fast moving fashion industry, how they address this so that they can maintain stickiness with their customers. So I think both companies are extremely interesting out of Taiwan. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Frontier, you got a question to ask? Yeah, now you can ask. Please go ahead. Wei.
Hi. Thank you for the comment. We're planning next year, maybe in March, that we can access some capital in the U.S. market. We don't have a lot of connections there. If you can have any some advice in terms of how to reach out to VCs in the consumer products, e-commerce, or investors behind different apparel brands, we're looking for these kind of target VCs or strategic investors that could help us elevate to the next level. If you have any advice, that would be wonderful for us. Thank you.
Sure. Diana, should I reply right now?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Each year through ITRI or 科技部 MOST or a lot of different government organizations, they send a lot of companies over here to reside here for either 3 months, 6 months, or even up to a year. So I think during COVID, it is very difficult for you to come over here to Silicon Valley. When the chance presents itself, I encourage you to come here and do not mingle only with people from Taiwan like myself. Try to go out and network yourself hell out of it to any gathering, any startup events. But initially, try to make sure people like you. Then strike some business partnership conversation. Trying to get funding immediately if it's within a 3-month trip from USVC is actually quite difficult from what I have observed over the last 3 to 4 years. So make sure you have some serious US traction in partnership or apparel companies. If you do come here, there are a lot of organizations here. They have a lot of activities that I'd encourage you to join. Of course, Monty J is going to be one of them. There are also companies, Gongshanghui and also AAMA, lots of activity. And Diana knows a lot of other people through her network. Come and seek Diana's advice is also going to be helpful. We are all here. And there is a difficulty for Diana. Hopefully you don't mind me speaking a little bit long. There's a gap for overseas Taiwanese here in Silicon Valley. I am of the people that came here in the late 80s and early 90s. And then people between 40 and 50 years old, we lack those people here from Taiwan because those people in that age, a lot of them stay in Taiwan and work for MediaTek or TSMC. So not too many overseas Taiwanese come here to be grad students. And after that, we do have a lot of people in the 30s. So come here, try to mingle with us, the older generation people, and work with the young people who have their different network. And in Taiwan, you do have recently a bunch of Taiwanese mafia people going back to Taiwan. People like Steve Chen, founder of YouTube, I think is everywhere in Taiwanese news. So try to go talk to them. For example, Kai Huang, founder of Guitar Hero, he was in the consumer space, so talk to them. Kai's wife is Samantha Chen, is also in fashion in a very big way herself. Try to mingle with those people. If you cannot come to the US, you don't even need to wear masks in Taiwan. Go and mingle with people from Taiwan Mafia over there. They are in Taiwan right now, at least till the end of the year. That will be my common advice to you immediately. Hopefully they are practical. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. And the next company is going to ask questions. Nua, yeah, our woman entrepreneur. Congratulations again.
Okay. My question is, I would like to ask how people, how the Americans think about the social robots, because when I got the different feedback from Americans, because some of them are very positive, but some of them are negative. The negative the people say that's because of some movie like Terminator. They make the humanized robot to be very terrified. But some positive people think that social robot in America has a huge market because they don't have such things, and for educational channels. So I would like to ask for what Judge says about the social robots and its markets in the United States.
Thank you. Ray, would you like to answer the question? Ray Wu?
Sure. I think the U.S., just like everywhere else, I think identified by the needs, right? I don't think it's that different from the rest of the world.
Well, Ray, I disagree. I think it's, if they're selling for $199, it's easier. If they're selling for over $1,000, it's another story. So we don't know how much they're pricing, right?
Could be. I mean, fundamentally, in the end, if the hardware, there's a lot of pricing, but then it depends on the usage model. That's again coming down to usage model, right? So if they're targeted at the education market, obviously the price need to be low. It has to get into the classrooms, and it fit into the Scratch programming type of models, right? So the U.S. education has a funding, K-12, there's a unique access point. So I do think it's, I wouldn't see it purely as a generic horizontal kind of approach to this. I'll actually go with the vertical. I'll very much target the vertical segmentations. Look at, for example, you are already targeted at education. I very much look at overall education market, how that's being adopted, what's the budget size look like, what's the pricing model, and what's the channel get into that. I think a lot of these kind of the STEM with kids, I don't think that's a problem. I think in many ways it's people are open to the new interfaces, and they're looking at IoT as a new way to program it. And we fund that not only with robot, but also with even IP cameras, with a lot of the small IoT gadgets that are actually utilized today in terms of programming, even Lego blocks, right? The smart Lego blocks. So a lot of these kind of things are utilized in the classroom. And then so from the fear factor perspective, I think really very much depends on the scenario. So I would just stop there and see. Because today, I think you only have essentially present as one and as open developed platforms. So it depends on who you partner, how you go to market, the pricing point, and distribution channels. Then you probably need to dress that up in a different format and different usage models, different content, and how you package it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much. So the next company is going to ask question is B Labs. B Labs, are you ready?
Yes. So hello, my name is Bin. I'm from B Labs, and thank you for the time and useful feedback. So my question is, if we want to describe our big idea, but normally we need to do a demo, or somehow it's like different scenario, like it's cross-industry scenarios, and so for example, on demo day, when our clients see the charging station and the UI interface, then they can understand what we are selling and what's the point. But for presentation, it's difficult to outline the entire situation or what makes it different. So I wonder, in that situation, especially for the remote, meeting, how can we improve this? Or please give us some suggestions or some feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff, would you like to answer the question? Jeff, Mr. Lin.
We're talking about the Beer Lab?
Yes. B Labs, yes. Yeah, she's asking the suggestions.
So what's that?
Yeah,
What's the question briefly?
Yeah, can you briefly ask your question again, B-Lab? I'm sorry.
Okay, I think
Yeah, B-Lab, yeah, go ahead, yes. Briefly repeat your question, please. Your voice being muted. Please unmute your voice. There's no sound.
Jeff, I think the question is related to remote presentation. How can they quickly demonstrate their key value proposition to investors?
actually remote demonstration actually I think is similar to the real presentation, and the presenter has to practice it as often as possible, and also the business model, your mission, and your target market segment has to be clear. If your market segment clear, if your customer are clear and the competitors are clear, then that will help you to present your product, your idea in a more efficient way. No matter it's a remote or no matter it's a remote or distant presentation or in real situation. So I think once you practice more and more and make your and make sure that your target, your segment is clear, then you can present in a better way.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, Diana, I do have something to add to this, if you don't mind. Yeah, 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
When I was watching the video YouTube clip of the companies, actually B-Lab is the one that I have the hardest time understanding what you are trying to do. Your video supposedly is practiced a long time and clearly edited, but you started out as a big picture of Internet of Everything. And then at that moment, I was wondering, okay, this is a huge market, but where is your entry point? Where's your focus? And suddenly you jump into energy payment related things, but you did not address where the pain point of that segment is. So where the opportunity, the pain point, what's the product market fit, and then how you're different from other people. Try to address these. And at the end, also be sure to present why the group of people, meaning your management team, are equipped to address all these issues. So those are 2 minutes, my input, feedback to you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. You are very sincere. I think it's very helpful for the teams. So the next question is from AR Clerk. I'm going to invite Vicky Young to answer the question. So Vicky, and please listen.
Oh.
So AR Clerk, yeah.
Okay, here. And because our target customers are hospital and insurance companies, so we would like to get more information about hospital and insurance company in America. For example, interaction between hospital and the insurance company, and their attitude of personal privacy for the medical data. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. You heard the question. You want to answer? Vicky, you're still there?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, if so, Vicky, you there? You unmute yourself first. You are muted. Vicky? Oh, it's okay. Now let's get Peter. Peter, you would like to answer the question?
It is very difficult to get into U.S. healthcare system because the protection of consumer and also the data. So my recommendation is immediately do not try to come to the U.S. Rather, get some paying customers in Taiwan or some neighboring countries in Asia, which will save you for both your travel expenses and your business model tweaking. Get faster feedback. Try to prove in a local city or in a local region how you protect customer data, how you use your technology to better make sure doctors or nurses or patients' life get easier, and how can you make sure that your effort is being paid either by insurance company or the consumer or the hospital. Make sure the business model is working in a local place that's more convenient to you first, and then try to think about coming here to the United States. I did hear that you have customers, I think it's Taipei Yishueyuan that's working with you, and also you are trying with Changgeng, you're approaching them as a partner. Try to make sure one of the big consumer or two hospitals is actually using it, not only within one small department, but throughout the hospital, or at least 2 or 3 departments, so that you find your cookie cutter model. And after that, think about coming to the US. Otherwise, I think you're going to waste a lot of jet lag, sleep deprivation, and also traveling expense. Don't bother at this moment. That would be my advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for everybody tonight. It's already nearly 10:30. We're supposed to finish 20 minutes ago. So right now, I'm gonna we're gonna finish for what we're doing today. And I want to thanks again to the judges, Peter, Jeff, Ray, and Vicky, and the first team of judges. And also thanks all the startup companies who attended tonight's event. And also thanks to our partners from Taiwan, Ms. Robert Yang, and Shang Ling, Li Xuan, Xiaojie, Mingyuan, everybody, I want to thank you again. And also thanks to Sandy Wang from Dining TV for all the work. We're going to have another events. So please keep connection, and we're going to create a platform, bring the investors and startups, entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, and business leaders together. I think through this communication and dialogue, and we'll help each other and have better understanding and build the better world and our future together. So is there anything that anyone want to say before we take off?
I want to say thanks to Diana and Sandy for inviting us.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much, Joseph. And Joseph is also an entrepreneur and a high-tech leader in Silicon Valley, one of the very early. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, so thank you, everybody. So in United States, we say good night. And our friends from Taiwan, we say goodbye. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
See you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.